Um, Hello, internet land. It's 1:17 a.m. and I had another one of my infamous dreams. Thankfully, I don't have them as much as I used to, but what was nice about this one is it was different than the dream that I usually have. I usually wake up from. This one I know wasn't real. Um, the other one I don't know if it was real or not. I don't know if that incident really happened or not. For those who don't know, um, what that dream is, or anything about what I'm really talking about, I was in a place called the Devereaux Foundation for 4 years when I was a teenager. And I guess I got sent there when I was 14. I got out when I was 18. The only reason they let me out is because I turned of age and they had no way to legally keep me there, although they sure the hell wanted to. And this was between Victoria and Goliad, Texas. 4 years, man, 4 freaking years. And the dream that I have had for decades since getting out of that place, there was in the dream. I don't know if I don't know if it really happened or not. Wouldn't surprise me if it happened. Me and well, put it another way, start over again. The staff had beat a kid to death, and they're all panicky and not really panicky, but they had to take care of the situation, I guess, and they got me and some of the other kids to pick the kid's body up and take it outside and bury it. It's very possible, even likely, that the staff killing a kid took place. Uh, it's also very likely that they would have had us carry the body out, and all they would have had to say is the kid went AWOL. And nobody was going to believe us. Kids told parents, family, and others all the time what was going on in there. Nobody cared. Either they didn't believe us or they just didn't care. I don't know what. I don't know what it was. And eventually the body would have had to have been removed. Um, Maybe we didn't bury it. Maybe we put it in somebody's vehicle and they took the body somewhere else. Again, I don't know. I don't know if that really happened or not. All I know is that I've been dreaming that nightmare since I got out of there. Maybe I even had the nightmare when I was in there anyway. So, but what happened, whenever I went to one of those places, I would wake up in the middle of the night. I would smell and look around to see where I really was. Was the nightmare I was living true? or was it just a nightmare and I really wasn't there? I had to wake up and check. So I was having a dream. I was laying in bed with the guy in the bed next to me. We were talking. He was telling me how he got there. When it was subterfuge, he was told one thing, it turned out to be another. That happened all the time. At least it happened to me all the time. Well, you're going to go here for this because of that. It's going to be this way, or things are going to be that way. And whatever I was told was always a lie. And I told him, I said, dude, I spent 4 years in this place when I was a kid. I was in the same room, the very same bedroom that I was in when I first went there, in the very same dorm. The staff seemed different. Well, my age was different. They were, instead of it being a bunch of kids, we were adults. And this guy was like saying something about he's gonna contact his attorney, see how you can get out of there. Let me tell you, that sort of thing doesn't always matter. If they want to keep you in a psych facility, they can keep you in there. They find ways of doing it, believe me. Even today, when I was in San Antonio, at Nick's specialty, there was a lot of abuse there, physical abuse, emotional abuse, a lot of neglect because the staff didn't do anything but sit there. And then if you dared to speak up, you couldn't speak up. You had to keep your mouth shut and you had to stay still. Couldn't move around. They'd either beat you down or they'd give you an injection or something to knock you out. And I saw one lady. She was, oh boy, she was assaulted. She was in a wheelchair. She could stand up, but she couldn't really walk very far. And she was demanding to speak to what at the time was called Advocacy, or Advocacy Inc., which was supposed to be there to protect psych patients' rights. And they refused to let her make the phone call. So she demanded to do so, and they physically assaulted her. And of course nothing was ever done about it, and I reported it. But anyway, back to, so the abuse goes on today. Anyway, so I was laying in the bed, and I remember a staff member came walking down the hall. Why, after all these years, I don't receive 82. I'm not gonna, 30 something years, 40 maybe, 30 to 40 years, and I'm still having these nightmares. To 40 years and I'm still having these nightmares. Why? Why doesn't it stop? It's not every night that I have them, thankfully. I couldn't go on if I had them every night. I don't even have them every week or every month. I may have them once a year, 2 or 3 times a year. Sometimes it's only once, maybe twice a year. But I actually had to wake up to see where I was. I guess that's the gist of it, so. All I could say is Russell Davis, Sam Walker, AJ Stafford, and the rest of you. Are you proud of yourselves? Are you able to sleep at night? I mean, come on. How many of us are still tortured and tormented by the crap you put us through? Can you really sleep with yourselves? Are you proud of yourselves? Well, boy, let me tell you something. Just be glad we don't live close to each other. Don't ever fucking come to my door. Don't ever fucking meet me on the street. Or greet me on the street. If you see me, just keep walking by, man. But hopefully, we all live in different states. It'd be even nicer if we lived in different countries. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I remember before I turned 18, I found out what I had to do to retain my Spanish citizenship. And I would have had to have gone home to Spain. And I wanted to do that, but I had no way to financially get myself there. I no longer spoke the language. Knowing a few words and phrases doesn't pass for knowing a language. But in my head, Spain would have been a hell of a lot better than where I was living. And it probably would have been. I mean, this wasn't that many years after, 7 years after Franco's death. So we were still coming out of that era. But I would rather have risked going home than living in the hell that I was living in. I don't really know what else to say. I just want to get a good night's sleep without waking up for this crap. What was it, Mrs. Branch, and I think that may have been her name. I may be getting that wrong. Oh guys, the mother of he's a former pro baseball player. His mother was one of the so-called house parents. She was a racist bitch. And Gant, that was her name, Mrs. Gant. The mother of Ron Gant. And I'm not going to say the names of the 2 or 3 people that were actually good, because I don't want them to be associated with bad things, because 2 or 3 good, decent folk made it easier to survive, so to speak. Because that's what we were doing, we were fucking surviving. We weren't living. There were times I lived out in the forest as much as I could. I went AWOL from that place once. I got a week in isolation for that. You couldn't figure out